There he goes. There he goes.
All right.
I got to say something.
Please do.
Please do, because I got some shit too.
I'm sorry. And this is nothing against, I mean, I don't know the fucking guy. And I realize he's going to hear this. And I do appreciate him having the fucking balls to come on here and spit his bullshit. And whether it's true, whether it's not true, I guess after hearing all that shit, the more and more I realize I don't give a fuck. I don't give two fucks if it's a globe, if it's flat or whatever. Because you know what? It ain't changing shit for me.
And we want to welcome everybody back to the Unfiltered podcast. As always, my name is the Keb.
And I am Jay Jones. What's up, fuckers?
And St. Joe in the hizzy.
And we are glad that you're along for the ride this week. We have a very special episode. Been looking forward to this one for a while. Our special guest this week is one that we, at least I, have looked forward to, and quite frankly, kind of poked fun at this subject for a long time. Our guest has made the rounds on the podcast circuit, but I don't think he's run into three clowns like us yet. I would like everyone to give a big unfiltered welcome to David Weiss, also known as Flat Earth Dave. Welcome.
Hey, what's going on, guys? And I don't think you've seen some of the podcasts I've been on to crown yourselves as the biggest, as the three biggest bozos, because that is some serious competition for you, and I don't think you're going to win. I used to do a podcast called Deep Inside the Rabbit Hole, where it was two truth seekers and a comedian that tried to turn everything into a fart joke.
Right.
So I am well versed at what I'm about to walk into here.
Nice. Well, real quick, we tell every guest, and we've had guests from all walks of life. We tell every guest the rules of the show, which are there are no fucking rules.
Yes.
And be sure to say what you want. The more controversial, the better. But I think I would be remiss to start us off if I did not ask you, and I'm sure you're going to tell at length, because I've watched some of your stuff on YouTube. To start us off, though, why do you think the earth is flat?
Well, I'd like to flip that back around as why do you think the earth is a globe? Because as we drill down here today, you're going to find out that you have zero proof of the earth is a globe, other than a guy in a bow tie who lies, told you so. Neil deGrasse Tyson, the failed actor, ex-wrestling, pro wrestler and alleged comedian, he tells you ridiculous stuff, and none of it has any proof to back it up. So, well, is there proof of the flat earth? There is so much proof of the flat earth that we don't have enough time. If this was a 24-hour show, there's so many things. And one of you said, was it Jay, that you were looking forward to this, that you're questioning the globe?
I don't know. I mean, I don't know if I question the globe. I'm a big time believer in that it's a round sphere.
Yeah. So what makes you, what would make you say that? Like what would be your number one thing? And I know this is an audio podcast, but
yeah,
people say, well, it's round because of photos from space. Do you know that the only people that think there's photos from space are people that believe the earth is a globe and think flat earth is stupid? NASA admits they have no photos of earth from space. The one that was on everyone's iPhone called the Blue Marble, when everyone first got iPhones, that is made by a guy named Robert Simmons, a NASA visual artist, who said he made it in Photoshop, and he talked about how he had strips of data, and He added clouds here, and basically they admit that there are no photos of Earth. So what makes you think it's a sphere?
Well, I was just wondering, obviously the only reason that I truly believe that it's a sphere is just like most of us that are not flat earthers, that what we've been told, whether it's right or wrong. So my personal knowledge, which is very little, I've never been to space. Is there even space? Do flat earthers believe that there's space? Is there a celestial plane? Is there space above us? Does the moon exist? The sun?
Is there? So space as described doesn't exist, right? So we're told that we're jumping way into this, that, we live on a spinning ball flying through an infinite space vacuum, which is impossible. You can't have high pressure next to zero pressure or even low pressure without a physical barrier. Think about it. We're on outside of a ball. We have an atmosphere, and then it's adjacent to the strongest vacuum void of anything. And it doesn't just suck all the air away. And people go, whoa, gravity holds it down. So gravity could hold down trillions of tons of water spinning on a ball, and birds can fly, but it can't suck the air off the earth. And, I could take a straw from any altitude and suck air and water up and away from Earth with the weak, low pressure of my mouth and lungs. But the gravity somehow is fighting against it. It makes no sense when you look at it. Here's the thing. All through school, whether, all through your life, you've just been told things about the globe, and a guy in a bow tie said it, so therefore it must be true. And NASA and all the other space agencies, they said it must be true, but you never, ever verified it. I went into this like everyone else. Every flat earther has the same story. I heard about flat Earth. I mocked the person that said it. I laughed, told them they were idiots. And then I went in to disprove it with a closed mind, just to prove the Earth is a globe. And that's when I saw that there was no proof, and there was actually proof of the opposite.
What shape is the flat Earth?
So flat is not a shape. Flat is the description of
yeah, I know.
Level and level and horizontal. There's hills and valleys and everything, but large bodies of water at rest lay flat. Anything bigger than a gallon bucket of water, the surface of that water lays flat at rest, testably, measurably, scientifically, provably flat, right? But when you think of flat Earth, you think of a disk floating in space. That's what all the mainstream will show you, Flat Earth Society, disk floating in space. We're not a disk floating in space. Nobody believes that. That's absolute and total nonsense, right? So the first thing, before you say what shape is the Earth, you got to think about our solar system. We're spinning. Do you know how fast the Earth is spinning at the equator, according to the heliocentric system, which I call the helio-nonsensical bullshit system?
Fast.
They believe it's a circle.
Yeah, it's a sphere. A sphere and a circle, two different things. A sphere. And it's spinning at 1,000 miles an hour at the equator. So if you're standing on the equator watching the sunset, the sun isn't going down, isn't going away. You're falling over backwards faster than the speed of sound. And that's making the sun appear to go down. So you're dropping at a mile a minute or more. Okay. Backwards, and the sun's going down, but you don't feel any of that motion. Right.
Well,
and
can I stop you there for a second?
Yeah.
Because you said the equator. Which brings me to a point. If you said the equator, you have to have a circle.
No, well, we'll get into that in a second. So I'll show you exactly how that works. So thanks for thinking. How fast are we orbiting the sun? Okay. No, listen. You guys.
Thanks for thinking. Thanks for opening your mouth.
I have to tell you something. I'm looking at you guys. I can see your faces. I can hear the things you're saying. You guys are actually thinking. There are people that don't think. Okay, that I've talked to, and it's unbelievable. And those are the ones that wake up the most people, because people are like, wow, I don't want to be that stupid. Let me think about this for a second. So we're orbiting the sun at 66,600 miles an hour. We're chasing the sun at 500,000 miles an hour. Okay, so I tell people, Google on YouTube the hypersonic sled track. And you watch this thing go by a Mach 8.6. It goes so fast you can't see it, right? But you have to believe that we are orbiting the sun 10 times faster than this thing, and we're chasing the sun 100 times faster. This is, magnitudes times magnitudes faster than rifle bullets. Okay. And while that's going on, you go out into nature and all you see is, perfectly calm glass covered lakes early in the morning when there's no wind, right? How can we be moving in all those directions and we have lakes that don't have a ripple on them? Okay. So what is the flat earth? What shape is it? That's the first question I want to know too. So when you have water, when it rains, and you have a puddle outside, where does that puddle form? On the top of a hill, on the side of a hill, the bottom of a hill? On the bottom, right?
Bottom.
Yeah. And what's containing that puddle? Large bodies of water at rest need a container, and it needs lateral pressure. It needs something pressing against the sides of the water. And that would be the land that's higher than the puddle all the way around that contains it. If you lower the land down, the puddle would flow to a lower spot. So think about a puddle, a lake. A pond is a bigger puddle. A lake is a bigger pond. So imagine you have a nice big pond. Okay. And that pond is the world pond. Okay. A pond also has land higher than the surface of the water. So if the world is a pond, well, what is the land that holds that pond in? Okay. And the answer to that is it's the land that we call Antarctica. They tell us Antarctica is a giant continent at the bottom of the earth, about 10 to 13,000 miles around. They tell us it's the highest plateau on Earth, right? It's got the highest land on Earth, which is very, very interesting. But in reality, and there's no pictures of Antarctica from space. There is pictures of some of the bases along the edge of Antarctica. And that's because Antarctica is the shoreline that surrounds our pond. Okay. So the way the flat earth works is, all of the continents and islands are essentially islands in a pond. They're surrounded by water, but all of that water is surrounded by Antarctica, which is the highest land on Earth. So if you want to take a look at it, the best way to look at it is at the center of flat Earth. If we're looking at where am I going here? Whoops.
Yeah, it's the North Pole.
At the center is the North Pole. I don't know why.
Why does it have to be the North Pole? Why can't it be the South Pole?
Because all compasses point towards the center.
Mathematically they do. Mathematically they point to the center north, but that's just mathematically.
Well, you could say it's the South Pole then. We just have a different name for it.
No, because if you use longitude and latitude, and this is where I'm gonna fight you on this, because if you sail across the ocean, that's where time zones were invented based off of the sailing around the world. So when you say that time zones were created based off of the nautical sea, so if you went around the world and you're going specifically off of the curvature of the Earth and the time zones, they were based off of the compass and the curvature of the Earth.
Well, that's a story. That's actually not how it goes.
Yeah, but it's proven in history that the man sailed around the world. Amelia Earhart flew around the world.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's how continents were discovered.
So think about this. So think about this. I've lost my camera feed, but that's all right. I guess I'll just describe because we're talking to a regular audience here. Sure. So at the center of at the center of our pond, we have picture like a big lake in Kansas, and it has a bunch of islands in the lake. And at the center of the lake, we have an island that has a tall magnetic mountain. Okay. Mm-hmm. So that's the north. And now you're on that lake, you're on your boat. Let's say the lake is, 15 miles around, 20 miles around. And you get your compass out. Your compass is going to point towards the center of that lake because that's where the magnetic part of the lake is. So now you're going to try to head 90 degrees east. So you're going to look at your compass. You're not even going to be looking at the mountain because the compass is pointing towards the mountain. You're going to try to head east. Well, as you head east, you have to constantly turn to the left to maintain a heading of 90 degrees. You have to constantly turn to maintain that heading. And if you go straight, you're now heading away from the center and you're heading south. All straight lines become south. So east and west are circles around the center, equidistant from the center. Okay.
But if I maintain the same point and continue to head east, I will eventually end up at the same point.
Absolutely. So get a magnet, put it down on a table, draw a circle around it, put your compass, and then just head east, and you will make a perfect circle around that magnet, and you'll end up right where you started from. You can head west, same thing happens. But what you can't do on a flat Earth, which would prove the globe, is head south and pop up on the other side. You can't head south from Santiago and head and all of a sudden show up in Australia, but it's never happened. No one has ever done it before.
But I wouldn't want to head south. If I went around east and continued to do east, that would prove the fact that it's a circle.
Listen, a circle. If you go out in your yard, you can do this with even without a magnet. Pick a tree and say that's the North Pole. Take your left arm, stick it directly out 90 degrees, off your left side, and point to that tree. And then hold your right arm 90 degrees to your left arm. That's east. Okay. Mm-hmm. Now try to walk east, but remember, your left arm always has to point towards that tree. You are going to walk in a circle around that tree and end up right back where you started from. Billions of people, including Amelia Earhart, went around the earth east or west. 0 have done it south. Okay.
Mm-hmm. I see what you're saying.
Wait, but circumnavigating east and west, which are circles on a globe and on a flat earth, don't prove the earth is flat because it works on both. Circumnavigating south would prove it, but it's never been done, and it's actually been faked a few times. There was a guy not too long ago. It was called the Spider Tracks. He was going to fly a plane pole to pole and circumnavigate the earth south, north and south. And we're like, okay, he's going for the world's record. So he took off from the North Pole, went down to like Alaska, down to South America. Then he went to Antarctica. And because the weather was too bad when he supposedly got to the South Pole, he turned around, went back up to Brazil, went up through New York, went back up to Canada and around the North Pole again. And he got the record for circumnavigation. He just made a circle on a flat surface. He went down. It's like me going to the end of my street, touching the light pole, turning around, going to the other end of the street, touching the light pole, and coming back and saying my street's a sphere. It's not. So nobody has ever done it.
So just to be clear real quick, because I'm a huge history guy.
Yep.
And so just to be clear, let's take Ferdinand Magellan, who is probably the first to claim to circumnavigate the globe in a boat. Started at one point, returned to the exact same point. The U.S. Air Force has done it. Amelia Earhart has done it to do that. So what you're saying, if I'm clear, is that that's a east to west or west to east circumnavigation. What you're saying is no one's done it pole to pole other than maybe Santa Claus.
Exactly.
Right. That has gone pole to pole, like north to south, correct?
Cool. So heading north, you can go from the United States. You can head north, up through Canada. You're not allowed to fly over the North Pole, but you get maybe pretty close. And then as soon as you pass it, now you're heading south and you're heading to China. Okay. But you're still going in a straight line on the flat earth, right? Or if it's a globe, you're climbing over the top and going around the other side and flying upside down on an airplane, not air globe. And that works on both, but you can't head south and pop up on the other side. No one's ever done it.
So does it make it cone shaped then?
So cone shaped? No, it's level. Large bodies of water at rest lay flat. If the earth was a sphere, we'd have a physical horizon. A 6-foot tall person standing at the edge of calm water should see a physical horizon at 3 miles, because on the globe, 24,901 miles around, the curvature says it'd be a 6-foot drop at just 3 miles.
No, I get that, but on the surface it's flat. But underneath there, if you can't go north to south, there's got to be something underneath there because if you're always pointing to north, there's got to be a point somewhere. You know what I mean? So what's underneath the? So I guess the better question is this: what's underneath the flat Earth?
So It's not a better question, but I will answer it. The deepest hole ever dug is in Russia. It's called the Kora borehole or something like that. And it was dug where they got down to just about 7.5 miles. 7.5 miles. Let's put that into perspective. If we were drilling through an apple, we made it halfway through the skin of the apple. And while they were drilling, they were using ground penetrating radar and all sorts of stuff to figure, hey, are there more rocks or no more rocks? And they hit more rocks. No more water. They hit more water. So the ground penetrating radar was absolutely useless. Then at 7.5 miles, they hit a barrier that was too hot and too hard. And for years, they tried to get through it and they couldn't get through it. And they gave up. But then somehow we're all shown a meme in a high school, in our yearbook, not our yearbooks, in our textbooks, showing all the different layers of the earth with a molten magnetic core. That's another 4,000 miles. They got the first 7.5 miles wrong, and somehow they know the next 4,000 miles. And then when they say molten magnetic core, well, again, it's like high pressure next to a vacuum. It doesn't exist. Every magnet heats up, and before it melts, it hits what's called the Curie point, and that means it loses all magnetism. So how the hell can we have a molten magnetic core? Absolute ridiculous mockery when they're telling us this stuff. And how would a compass work in different places on the globe? Wouldn't it like be pointing down at the Earth? If the compasses point north in the south, they should be pointing to the south as soon as you cross the equator, but they don't. They have southern compasses, but all they do is they put the magnetic part on the part that says S. It's the same exact thing. Everything points towards the center of the flat Earth, the center surface of the flat Earth. So what's below us? Nobody knows. Nobody knows. Globers, flatters, nobody knows.
I like the term globe head better. Real quick, I talked to in the past, and if you're wondering who the one of the three of us who really wanted you on here, it was me. Ever since I've been on the air, which has been years, I've wanted to speak with somebody, but no one would ever, because hey, he's a comedian, he's just gonna make fun of me, and that's not the case. But when you talk to your run of the mill flat earther, they tell you, hey, here's a YouTube thing to watch. Hey, here's do your own research. And then probably the most common question that I've seen from somebody like me to somebody like you, which is just two people that have different opinions, is what about small, like simple evidence that the earth is not flat, like how a ship slowly appearing over the horizon, it looks small.
The horizon thing.
Yeah,
a lot of different stuff on this lately.
So funny. So the ships over the horizon is what got me when I first started looking into flat earth. I saw these videos where they're like, look at the ship go over the horizon. Yep, it's gone. Can't see it anymore. And then they take out a super zoom camera.
It's the Nikon 900
P900 and P1000.
This is the flat earther's dream camera.
Well, absolutely. It's a great camera, but you don't even need a pair of binoculars will do it.
You know what a camera is made up of, right?
Lenses but it's not seeing over a physical curve. So we zoom in and you can see the boats again. And as we're taught that light travels for billions of years and trillions and quadrillions of miles, which is nonsense. Light spreads out just like sound does, and it dissipates. There's a thing called the inverse square law of light. And as light expands, every time you double the distance, it's a quarter of the brightness. Well, do that a few times, there's no light left. And we can prove this. So again, as I was saying, 6 foot tall person sees a horizon at 3 miles away. Something that's 10 miles away, there should be 66 feet of curvature. Well, I went down to the beach, zoomed in on a buoy that was 11 miles away, and there it is. I rounded down, said it should be 66 feet of curvature. Then I went to the debunking websites, and they all say, yeah, this is the formula. But one of them said, no, the buoy's halfway down the hump, and you're on the other side of the hump, so there's only 33 feet of curvature, which is nonsense. But I said, okay, I'll give it to you. I can still see the buoy. The earth is either much bigger than they're telling us, or it's flat. And then we got infrared cameras, and we started seeing things that should be tens of miles below the curve, and we could still see them. The earth would have to be 1,000 times bigger than they're telling us. And if that's the case, we have even a bigger problem. So, and sorry, go ahead. Did I answer your question?
You did, but it made me think of something else.
Wait, one other thing. When Google is hiding everything, if you Google flat earth, you're not going to find anything. You might find my interview with Professor Dave, who's just a failed singer, who's propped up by, Google, probably paid, to make fun of flat earthers and say mocking things, but never present any solid proof, and just basically do straw man arguments. But you won't find anything. If you Google flat earth, boats over the horizon, super zoom camera, nothing will come up other than debunking videos. I created an app. It's called the Flat Earth Sun, Moon, and Zodiac Clock app, which bypasses YouTube's algorithms. It gives you all the tools you need to research. Check it out yourself. Check it out. Go to flatearthdave.com. You don't even need to get the app. There's plenty of information on the website right there, plenty of videos to watch. People go, "Oh, videos, you're making me watch YouTube as proof." YouTube is just a storehouse of information where people have done the work for you. You can go watch the videos, don't believe anything, and then go, "You know what? I'm going to try that myself." And then you can verify, right? Belief is the enemy of knowing, but, knowing takes time and effort. Belief is easy. You guys believe my name is Dave. If I told you I lived in Connecticut, you believe I live in Connecticut, but you never verified it. So you don't know it. You believe it. But we can't live our lives verifying everything. We have to trust some things. Otherwise we would never get through the day. There would be too many things to verify. And we'd never have any time. So that's the way this world works. People are trusting people, and that's how they've gotten away with it. This is the biggest, most important scam to the elite, because this is the way they keep us stupefied and basically in the matrix. The matrix is the heliocentric system. Go ahead.
I have a question in the realm that you were just speaking of. My question is this: other than what people believe and have been taught and told, what the fuck does it really matter if it's flat or round? It doesn't.
Shape of the earth doesn't matter. 100% right. Just getting back to the boats over the horizon, in the app, there's a frequently asked questions button. There's boats over the horizon. There's dozens and dozens of videos there that will show you, break down, explain what you're seeing, and then you can see. Once you're shown something and you understand that on a flat earth, the horizon is optical. Like, I could look at the clouds over my head. They're 10,000 feet. There's a deck of clouds, but then I'm looking down at New York City from where I am, 25 miles away. The clouds are touching the water. And that's just the limit of my vision, where perspective squeezes the sky and the land together. And that creates my horizon. But then I could zoom in and I could push those clouds apart and I could see much farther, right? That's called an optical horizon. On a ball, like if you had a little basketball and you had a little boat, little toy boat, and you pushed it over the horizon on the basketball from your point of view, it's behind a physical horizon. The horizon that we see is provably, testably, demonstratably optical. So your question is, why does it matter? Well, I don't know what your guys' view of the world is, creation or whatever, but before I understood that this place was intelligently designed, I was a Big Bang guy. Hey, nothing exploded, created everything. Lightning struck, created DNA. It turned into an amoeba. The amoeba found another sexy amoeba, turned into a fish, grew some legs, climbed out of the water, found another sexy fish, had a retarded monkey who had a retarded baby, and it was a human, right? That's what we have to believe. That was a little set
That's
up.
Funny. Actually, we believe the smartest scientist on earth is Sheldon Cooper.
I don't know who Sheldon Cooper is, but smartest scientist is a kind of an oxymoron when you understand science is a real thing. Flat earthers love science. We use science, but all the shit that they throw at us, Neil deGrasse Tyson and Bill Nye, the lion guy with the bow tie, is just pseudoscience. It's all made up, absolute nonsense. Michio Kaku himself says, the field of astronomy is so far off. If you're off by a factor of 2 or 10, it's horrible, but they're off by a factor of 10 to the 120th power. That's 10 with 120 zeros, right?
So I was thinking
insanity.
In order to actually really, I guess, scientifically, if science exists, prove that it's a flat earth. Yeah. An entirely different kind of physics would have to be written. Different rules of physics, different rules of science would have to be developed. Because,
absolutely incorrect.
Absolutely
incorrect.
Okay, well, that's okay. Let me get it out before you tell me how incorrect I am.
Sorry about that.
Okay, so, because I really don't give a fuck. But at the same time, we're having you on here to talk. So let me ask a question you can answer.
My bad. I apologize.
So when it comes down to I did research online, which is all fake and farce, whatever. But when the stuff that I could find from the flat earthers that were I guess some of the first ones were saying that the sun is approximately 3,000 miles away. They agreed on that.
No, but
No.
go ahead.
No,
Continue.
okay. All
Continue.
Right, all right, so this, it doesn't matter if it's wrong. It doesn't matter. You're not going to have an answer to it. But I'll move on to the next thing. If the whole horizon thing works and it's an optical illusion, then wouldn't shadows, if we were a flat Earth, shadows would be the same no matter where you're at on the Earth?
No, they're not. Good questions, by the way. And sorry for interrupting. I get a little excited sometimes. So the idea that the sun is 3,000 miles away, yeah, you can. It's called sizing and scaling. We can make the sun 6,000 miles away if we made it twice the size that they say it is. We can make it all different, anything we want. I believe that the sun we see is much, much closer than that. But the problem is we can't reach it. And if you can't reach it, you don't know the distance or size, you can't really say anything about it. No one even knows if the stars that we see are physical objects. But what we can prove is that the distances they tell us are absolutely insanity. We'll get into that in a minute. Let me address your shadows. The way that they were told that the Earth's size was found out was Aristophanes 2,000 years ago in ancient Greece. He noticed on a certain day that you can see a reflection of the sun at the bottom of a well, which means that the sun is directly above him. So he came up with a great plan. He's going to send his buddy 500 miles away who counted his paces to figure out it was 500 miles. And then somehow they communicated on a day where the sun was directly above Aristophanes. He put a stick up in the air and it had no shadow, but his friend had a shadow. So he did some very good math. Where he said, okay, the stick is this tall, the shadow is this tall, the distance is 500 miles. You got a right angle because there's no shadow on his stick. And he did some great math and figured out the sphericity of the Earth. And Carl Sagan in the show Cosmos in the 80s drilled it into everyone's head that this was how they figured it out. Amazing. Aristophanes is the most amazing mathematician ever. He figured out the size of the spherical Earth. Well, the problem with that is bunch of problems. One is there's a whole bunch of mathematicians that came out of that part of Greece for centuries beyond, and none of them ever mentioned him. No one ever mentioned that. So if I was writing a history of the Chicago Bulls, and I left out Michael Jordan, there's a problem there. Okay. So the only mention of Aristophanes and that experiment didn't show up into the 1900s in Rockefeller funded textbooks. Interesting, right? That's not proof of anything though, because all of our history is a lie. So the sticks and shadows, just do this. Get a couple beer bottles and set them, 2, 3, 4 feet apart on the floor, and then get a light and hold it directly over the center one. You have 3 bottles. The center one will have no shadow. The one to your left will have a shadow going to the left, and the one to your right would have a shadow going to the right. And if you put one farther to the right than that one would have a longer shadow going to the right. And that's exactly how time zones work, how sunrises and sunsets. The sun circles around above the flat Earth, the sun that we see, that is, within the Earth system. And as it's rising on the East Coast, because it's getting closer, it's rising on the West Coast, but it's starting much lower. And when it's noon here, it's 9 a.m. on the West Coast. That's because it still hasn't traveled across the United States. And this is how seasons work also. We're told that the Earth is tilted away from the sun in our winter. And because that light is spread out over a bigger area, that's why we have our winter. That's bullshit. And it's provably so, because one, during our northern summer, heliocentric system says the sun is 3.5 million miles closer to the Earth than it is during our summer. Okay. Interesting. They're like, well, it's 93 million miles away and it's only like 4%. It doesn't make any difference. Ridiculous. But in the summer here in Connecticut, when the sun is on the horizon in the morning, I could feel the heat on my face. If I stand there for an hour, I'll get a suntan. Okay. And I'll get hot. And because the sun, and that's the most severe tilted angle it could be. It's just a few degrees off the horizon. But in the winter, in December, when the sun is 3.5 million miles closer, at solar noon, when the sun is like 50 degrees up in the sky, a much more direct angle and closer, I can't even feel the heat on my face and I can't get a tan. Right. And this is how it works. If we were sitting, 2 of us were sitting in a field, it's freezing cold. The field is frozen. We're trying to drink our beers, but they actually keep freezing. And we're 20 feet apart. And then somebody came over with a nice big heat lamp on a post and held it 15 feet over your head, directly over your head. You're looking up at it and you could feel the heat blazing down on you. It melts all of the snow that's around you. Your beer defrosts. And I could look at it. I'm not looking up. I'm looking over at like 45 degrees. It's over there. It's 15, it's 45 degrees up in the air and I could barely feel the heat. Then that person walks over to me, not lowering at all. And I would watch that sun rise until it's directly above me. And you would watch the sun get farther away and get lower. Just like in our winter, the sun is farther away. It's lower in the sky. During our summer, it's closer. It's higher in the sky. Right? That explains the seasons, day and night, are as the sun approaches us, as it's going around its westerly trip. It circles around the earth west. And that's how seasons work. Seasons actually prove the earth is not a spinning ball. The sun is small and close. Absolutely 100%. And again, in the app, the Flat Earth, Sun, Moon, and Zodiac Clock app, hit the frequently asked questions button, hit the seasons button, and I will show you, you'll see a whole bunch of videos that will show it with graphics, explain it, then you'll understand it.
What about a lunar eclipse?
Yes, great one. So one of the biggest mysteries on Earth is, what the hell is the moon? You know, I'm not sure.
I bet you know.
I don't. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. But what we can prove is the idea of an eclipse that they tell us is absolutely ridiculous. Do you guys know what the 3-body problem is? Probably not. No. That's right. And by the way, anything I ask you, I didn't know the question. I didn't know the answers either until I started looking into flat Earth. The 3-body problem is science can take the world's best supercomputer and they can make a gravity model, and you put a sun in there and say, okay, it's this big. It's got this much gravity. Put a planet in there. It's got this much gravity, and you put it into orbit, and that model can figure out where that thing's going to be at any second of any day for 1,000 years into the future. It works beautifully. Then you throw in another body, another planet or another moon or a moon going around the earth. And immediately the system goes into chaos mode, and the computer can only figure out what it's going to do for a couple of seconds into the future. And it can't guess what it's going to do next because it constantly changes. Well, we're in a solar system with, 100 some odd objects or whatever, with all the moons and asteroids and everything. And we're in a galaxy, and, we're in a giant beehive that somebody threw a rock at. But somehow our moon, our sun, is 400 times bigger than our moon and happens to be 400 times farther than our moon, which makes them appear to be the same size. And then somehow, from our point of view, I'm talking about a solar eclipse right now, by the way, they line up perfectly like two machine cut quarters. Okay. The odds of that happening are 0 to the 120th power, maybe a 1 after that. Okay. But the problem is it happens again and again and again. Every year there's solar eclipses. And guess what? After 18 years, that entire cycle pattern of eclipses happens again, like a clock, like it's a perfect clock. And then there's a 36-year cycle that repeats within, that with that 18-year cycle within it. There's these cycles up there. The sky that we see is a perfect machine. Well, not machine, but it's a perfect clock. It's a intelligently designed system. As I was getting back to before when I faded off, I was just remembering, when you understand that the earth is an intelligently designed system, I didn't believe in any gods or anything. I'd be watching a podcast. These guys are awesome, taking notes. And all of a sudden they mentioned Jesus, Muhammad, Buddha. And I'm like, all right, you're gone. Tear up the paper and unsub.
Don't forget Joseph Smith.
And Joseph Smith too.
Don't forget him.
When I understood that the earth is intelligently designed, now I have to admit there's a creator. Okay. And now who the creator is to you, that's your own journey. Whatever you want to call the creator, again, that's your own thing. But the earth is intelligently designed. We're at the center of creation. Well, what does that mean if we're at the center of creation? We're not spinning out of control, flying through an infinite, godless, or distant God universe. We're not in jeopardy of an asteroid hitting us and killing us like it killed the dinosaurs that never existed. Asteroids don't exist. So we're not running out of water. There's infinite water above and below us, right? We're not running out of food because you can stick a 100-year-old seed into the ground. Water will fall from the sky and food will grow out. You can put every family in the world in Australia, and Australia wouldn't be full, right? You can put every American family in Texas, and half of Texas would be empty. Okay. It's this overpopulation. All of this is about control. So if you live in the matrix, the heliocentric system, there's nothing more to discover. We're on a ball. That's it. There's nothing more. Okay. But if the earth is flat, let's go back to our lake in Kansas, 10, 15, 20 miles around. You got islands. You circle around. You went east and west. Okay. I circumnavigated the lake. Doesn't make it a sphere. Now I'm going to go south, which is any direction away from the center of the lake. What happens when you get to the edge of the lake? Do you fall off? No, you don't. You're in Kansas now. You step up onto the land and you start walking. You're still walking away from the lake. Well, how far can you see? Maybe you can see, I don't know, a mile, 2 miles, 5 miles. You walk down 20, 30, 40 miles. You can't see the lake anymore. Where are you? You're in Antarctica, right? You keep walking and all of a sudden, look, another lake. What if there's another lake there? You get on a boat and you go out in that lake and there's other islands there. Okay. More land, extra territory, extra terrestrial. If somebody came from the lands beyond the shoreline of Antarctica, we might consider them an extraterrestrial from outer space. Now that is scientifically possible. We don't need new physics because our physics work, right? Our physics work. Water lays flat. Air pressure needs to be contained. We're in a container and the earth is flat. Water proves that the earth is flat. Air pressure proves that we're in some sort of container. Okay. That is not new physics. You need new physics because our physics say you can't have a spinning ball with water on the outside and air on the outside adjacent to a vacuum. You can't have gravitational bodies orbiting each other like a perfect clock, eclipsing each other, and not have it repeat in perfect form. That requires different physics. So whoever said we need different physics, we need different physics for the helio-nonsensical bullshit model. So getting back to eclipses, a lunar eclipse, which we just had the other day. A lunar eclipse is when the Earth gets in between the sun and the moon and puts a shadow on the eclipse on the moon, right? And somehow in the middle of it turns red. Okay. That's not, the Earth doing that. But there's a thing called the Seleninian eclipse. And that's where the observer can see the sun off to his right above the horizon and can see the moon off to his left above his horizon. So if you're on a ball, well, the Earth is not in line yet to cause the eclipse, but then the eclipse starts. Why he can still see both above the horizon. And worse than that, the eclipse shadow comes in from the top of the moon. Wait a minute. It should come in from the bottom if he's standing there observing it, but it comes in from the top. What does this mean? What this means is the Earth is not causing the eclipse. Another thing is, and you could do this yourself, get a light or even just use the sun and get a basketball and see how far you can get from a wall or from, a surface where the light is, put the ball against the wall. You see the shadow, move the ball away. Tell me how far it goes before you can't discern the edge of that shadow anymore. How does a moon, an Earth, 250,000 miles away from the moon, cast a shadow on the moon that has a very sharp edge? Absolute insanity.
Well, but if you were, sorry, Kev, go ahead, Kev.
Well, I'm going to, if you have something pertinent to this, because I'm fixing to change the fucking subject. I got a totally different question.
Yeah. Go ahead. Okay.
So, this question I've got for you, I got to set it up real quick because there's a story with it. Flat earthers like to assert that the earth is flat and people like us assert that it's a globe. But, the problem I have with assertions is like, if I assert that St. Joe sleeps with sheep, he sleeps with sheep, and I was part of this Facebook group called the Official Flat Earth Discussion. And I posed this question to them, and about 0.008 seconds left, I was blocked out of that
absolutely
thing. So here's my thing. And we've talked a lot about the science of this. And what I'm really interested in, I know we have many listeners who are interested in the conspiracy of it. Okay. So I just jotted this down, and forgive me with my extensive YouTube and Wikipedia research here. But there are 3.2 million public school teachers, right? There's 1.8 million people that work for the U.S. federal government. About 18,000 people work for the NASA part of that. 135,000 plus college professors. My question that got me blocked, hopefully you got an answer for it.
Are they all in on it?
Is how come not one of them, not one significant member, like maybe Steve over here, but not one significant member has come forward to address that everybody is lying to us?
Well, actually, many have. And we have on the app, there's a are all scientists and pilots in on it. There's all sorts of testimony on there. There's tons of stuff. The problem is it's not served to you. It's hidden from you on Google. But here's the bigger reason is because when you go to school, you're not taught to think. You're taught to memorize and regurgitate. If you question the textbook and disagree with it, you get an E or an F. Okay. So if you memorize and regurgitate and agree with everything in the Rockefeller funded textbooks, you become the next generation's teacher. Teachers are the most indoctrinated of them all. Scientists. Now, what is it? Can you name a scientist? Who are we naming here? There's only a couple, famous scientists, Bill Nye, Neil deGrasse Tyson, Michio Kaku.
Galileo.
No. So these are men that you never met. If you look at into our history, Galileo, Copernicus, all of these guys, you have no proof that they ever existed. They're most likely made up characters, like Ernest, who said, Shakespeare said, the world's a stage. The famous saying, the world's a stage. Shakespeare never existed. He's a group of writers that represented themselves as William Shakespeare. So again, all of our history is a lie. Again, in the app, under the more resources button, there's a Tartaria mud floods button. Hit that button. But if you do, bring food and water and make sure you got a day off. Because you are going to open up a rabbit hole so deep, you'll never see the light again once you go down there. So again, all of our history is a lie. They were teaching flat earth here up into the late 1950s. They were teaching flat earth in schools here in America into the late 1950s. And they were slowly phasing it out. But we have newspaper articles of teachers being persecuted for trying to teach heliocentrism. We have testimony from people, a 102-year-old woman I introduced named Ruth back in 2020. Just before the lockdowns. And she said she was taught flat earth in school. And then years later, they changed it. And that's when the Rockefellers took over the school system. And the reason they do this is because the people that run this world, I think we might agree on this, are not good people. They're not here to help the humanity. They're here for themselves. They're here to enslave humanity. And that's what's going on right now. It's called the Great Reset. If you don't know about the Great Reset, you're not paying attention. And the Great Reset's going on right now. And it's being pushed because people are waking up too quick. There's too many people waking up. And when we wake up and realize, you know what? I'm at the center of creation. I'm way more powerful than they want me to believe. In school, they tell us we only use 10% of our brains. And that's the goal of school. The other 90% that they don't want you to know about is your connection to nature, to spirit. It's your connection to your higher levels of consciousness. It's your connection to manifestation by thought. Right? Everything you guys have in your life is because you thought it into existence. The biggest conspiracy of all is that the world system, the universe, whatever you want to call it, is conspiring to deliver every thought you have to you, whether it's a good one or a bad one. So be careful with your thoughts. They don't want us to know that nobody has any control over us. The only control anyone has over you is in your imagination. And if everybody woke up tomorrow and said, you know what? I'm no longer listening to these tyrannical governments. They don't have the right to tell me to do this and do that. Governments would all dissolve overnight. It would all happen instantaneously. They control us with fake money. They control us with fake food. They control us with everything. And if you don't see what's going on in this world right now, which is the reason I'm out here talking about this, the shape of the earth doesn't matter. It's our position in it, who we are, where we are, what we are, and the power that we have, and understanding that the people that are running this world right now have no right to do so. That's why it matters.
To see your house.
My house is amazing.
I would love to see what it is.
I'm
why,
sure...
wait, why do you say that? I'm curious why you say that, Cap.
No, that wasn't me. That was St. Joe.
St. Joe. I would love to see it, just because. I mean, I picture the Mel Gibson movie where he's got like the bottle on the doorknob and everything lights on fire if anybody comes into it, to destroy everything, to make sure isn't it called Conspiracy Theory? I think that movie.
Yes,
what is that movie called?
Yeah.
Just that it just would everything would just be completely like gone if anything breaks in or does anything. I think it would be hilarious. But yeah.
Oops.
Yeah. I think it would be just hilarious if something like that would happen. But yeah.
Well, there you go.
Yeah.
Oh, there we go. I got my pictures back. Go ahead.
What else, Kev?
No, I'm sure, and Jay, you can back me up on this, that Dave, that you can understand where we're coming from when we're like, this is bullshit. And I mean,
sorry, finish your point, then I'll say it. Go ahead.
Right. And just the conspiracy of it, coupled with the birds aren't real people and the 5G towers created COVID and crap like that, to where, and I'm not naive to the fact that, yeah, that's what we've been taught and all this, good stuff. But what about, and I go back to, what about satellites? What about the International Space Station? What about, all of these? Are all the other planets flat?
Yeah, so that is well, first, all of the other planets flat is a meme that they put out there. You Google, flat Earth, they show you disk in space with round planets or other flat planets. Those are two false models put together. That's a total binary mischoice, or whatever you call that, a false dichotomy. So the other planets are provably not what they tell us. I mean, if you look in the sky and look at Jupiter is a gas planet. I wouldn't call it very reflective. If you were on Jupiter and looked at the sun would be tiny because you're so far away from it. You have to believe that tiny sun is lighting up Jupiter. That light is reflecting off of the clouds, going all the way back to Earth, and it makes it brighter than any star in the sky. That's absolutely impossible, scientifically impossible, using our physics, actual physics, the inverse square law of light. It's provable that would be impossible to see. And it doesn't work. When light is reflecting off of something, it gets dimmer and dimmer. It doesn't get brighter and brighter. Satellites make absolutely no sense. If you remember, we're corkscrewing through space in 4 different directions at once, traveling 4.5 billion miles a year while spinning and spiraling. But somehow a satellite can stay over the same point of land in outer space. What's making it mimic all of those directions? And if you say gravity, you don't even understand what's going on. If you look at what NASA says that they're tracking up there, absolute insanity. And then if you believe in GPS, well, GPS is the old Loran system. It's a tower-based system. There's no GPS over the Southern Oceans. There's no GPS over the Amazon. There's no GPS where there aren't towers that are putting up a grid of signals. Now, NASA puts up, years ago, before we had satellites, NASA was putting up balloons. Right? Well, guess what? They're always putting up balloons. They have tens of thousands of balloons up there, some of them bigger than football stadiums. And those balloons carry up to 8,000 pounds of satellite equipment. There's tens of thousands of them, and they're crashing all over the earth now and then. And people are filming them with their high-def cameras that are in their pockets, right? Before they quickly get swept up. Satellites are balloons. NASA, well, first thing is they demonized hydrogen. They related it to the hydrogen bomb, and then they blew up the Hindenburg and said it's too explosive. And so the only way we could have airships now is with helium. But NASA owns all the big helium companies in the world. NASA uses most of the helium in the world, and there's always a helium shortage. So you can't get enough helium to do what you need to do. They control the helium, making it efficient air travel isn't allowed. Because if we were allowed to explore the outer lands of Antarctica, we'd find out that we don't live on a ball, and then everything changes. With all the tyranny that's going on right now, what if there was more islands? There was more continents. There was a map found in Japan, Japanese map in 1910 or somewhere around there, showing like 40 other continents outside of the shoreline of Antarctica. 40 other continents. Well, we only have 8 here. Okay. 40 other continents. Well, if you knew that there was other lands out there that didn't have tyranny, maybe you'd want to go there, right? In the app, the Flat Earth, Sun, Moon, and Zodiac Clock app, there's a book section, and one of the books is called The Iron Republic. It's about a politician in the late 1800s that got sick of what was going on here, bought a ship and went exploring Antarctica, found like an inlet, and then popped out in the ocean again, was lost for a month, and then they finally found land. And they found a city and they pulled up and a boat came out and, to greet them and said, hey, we're at the Island Republic. Where are we? They're like, this is the Island Republic. And they're like, we're from America. Where's the Island Republic? And he's like, well, it's on the other side of Antarctica, about the same distance as America. Well, but making the story short, they went there, they stayed there for a couple of years. The guy ended up actually marrying somebody there, and then she died and he got pissed off again, and he left and he came back, and he was telling the story here in 1901, and it was published in a series of articles in Florida Magazine, which nobody can seem to find a single physical copy of anymore, because they've been removed because there was too much information in there. But whether it's true or not, and it rings true to me, in 1901 they were talking about more continents beyond Antarctica. That doesn't work on a globe. It only works on a flat earth. Physics only work for a flat earth. They don't work. Our physics don't work for a globe. None of them do.
All right. Well, that's a good place to, I think, to leave it, Dave. We're up against it. Where can they find you? At flatearthdave.com?
Here at flatearthdave.com, all my links are there. The app is there. The app is $3. There's a friend finder on the app, which if you want to send messages to other people, there's a subscription. It's $10 a year, but you don't need to do it. Just get the app, check out the frequently asked questions. But I have a challenge for everybody. On the app, on the bottom left-hand corner, every day there's a new video. Short ones during the week, longer ones on the weekends. And I say, watch that every day for 2 weeks. At the end of that 2 weeks, if you think there's one proof of the globe, send it to me and I'll give you 3 Bitcoins. All right. But before you do, you have to hit the frequently asked questions button. Make sure your question's not there. It probably is. Check it out. And then when you realize, oh, that's how circumnavigation works. Oh, that's how sunsets work. Oh, that's how seasons work. Then you'll realize that you're at the center of creation, and then everything changes. Why does it matter? It changes everything, right? It changes everything. And anybody that's, where are you guys located? You were probably all over the place.
2 in Florida, 1 in Jersey.
All right, well, I'm in Connecticut, so we're all general same area. We're having a conference in October called Flattoberfest in South Carolina, in Greensville, South Carolina. You guys, if you do any research, you will be flat earthers by then, and you will want to come there. Make sure you introduce yourself to me and say hello. All right?
Cool.
So, yeah. We'll do. Check it out. And then also one other thing, on Flat Earth Day, if you don't want to get the app, fine. On flatearthdave.com, scroll down just a little bit, and it says Flat Earth Crash Course. And there's a list of full-length, well-made documentary videos on Flat Earth. I challenge anybody, get through 3 of them, and if you're not a Flat Earther, send me 1 proof of the globe, and you win your 3 Bitcoins. The top 3 movies on there will blow your mind. Okay? So
sounds good.
Cool.
And it changes everything, guys.
Cool. Well, thank you very much for joining us. Again, it's flatearthdave.com. David Weiss, Flat Earth Dave, and you have yourself a good night, sir.
All right, guys. Thanks so much. And send me a link when this is up, and I'll share it on the app. All right.
Appreciate that.
All right. Thanks. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. There he goes. There he goes.
All right.
I got to say something.
Please do.
Please do, because I got some shit too.
I'm sorry. And this is nothing against, I don't know the fucking guy. And I realize he's going to hear this. And I do appreciate him having the fucking balls to come on here and spit his bullshit. And whether it's true, whether it's not true, I guess after hearing all that shit, the more and more I realize I don't give a fuck. I don't give 2 fucks if it's a globe, if it's flat or whatever. Because you know what? It ain't changing shit for me. It ain't changing shit for anybody I know. It ain't going to put more money in anybody's pocket. And I don't understand the whole fucking bullshit theory with people don't want us to know. I don't get that shit. I don't understand that point of it at all.
What is the motivation for lying to us?
Yeah, what's the motivation for keeping us in the fucking dark? Right. Really? Does it matter if somebody told me my whole life that it was a flat earth and I believed it was a flat earth and somebody came on and said, nope, it's a round one?
So, But it also begs the question that, there are some people up there that if you say, hey, look, this is up, they go, no, it's down.
Right.
Hey, this is black. No, it's white.
I got a 6 foot long dick.
You know what? According to him, well, you must have it, and we have to believe you because according to that, the shadow on it, if you put a flashlight above it, the shadow of it will be one on the left and one on the right, and the one in the center it won't matter.
And my balls will be warm.
Right, and
the big question is was the wait worth it?
No, not at all.
No.
I was. You know what's fucked up? Have you ever got excited to go eat somewhere? Everybody tells you how fucking good it is, and you're like, dude, I can't fucking wait to get these steak fries.
Right.
You fucking show up and you're like, this fucking place sucks.
Yeah.
Guess what? Fucking Dave, the flat Earth Dave, is those fucking steak fries. I'm not saying he's not knowledgeable or he doesn't have a lot of fucking nonsense running around his head because
he's hella prepared.
I think
he's more than prepared.
He's full of a lot of stuff, full of a lot of information,
and like
passionate.
I said, personally, I don't know the man. He's great.
You know what? I meant to ask him. Was he part of the Pentabyrinth? Fuck.
Damn.
Forgot to ask. That would have been great. But yeah, it just was kind of one of those things where it's like, wow, okay.
I'm not going to do it. I mean, I guess I'm just going to live in my fucking ignorance and be okay with it because I got better shit to fucking do.
Yep.
Yeah. I just don't understand why the flat earth community, I'm going to try to be as respectful as I can here. The flat earth community looks at us like the onus is on us to prove that it's a globe when, how dare you say it's not flat? That's kind of what I got out of it. How dare you?
Yeah. The whole defensive fucking, posturing that I feel like I sent this to you last night, Keb.
Yeah.
There's this person on TikTok, this young lady who obviously is intelligent. Okay. I'm not taking away anyone's intelligence here or trying to, question their intelligence, but when it comes, just nonstop ignorance, in my opinion, when you're telling us we have to, I'm not arguing with you. I just want to, prove to me why. And I guess he said, hey, go to his website, flatearthdave.com. Go be fucking mesmerized.
Yep. That's why I said to him, we all have a different belief structure and we just, disagree, and we live in America. Disagreements in our fucking blood, but yeah, with the attitude just that I get from the flat earth community towards, intelligent people, regular people. And man, I keep fucking that up. People who believe in the globe, which I would gather, what do you think the percentage of people who believe in the globe is? 98?
They only had 600 people at their conference in 2018.
Okay.
They're like big national U.S. conference. I don't know if people from around the what do you call it? Around the earth. I guess I can't call it around the globe, right. across the fucking earth.
Yeah.
600 people.
Flatties.
Yeah, they're fucking flat brained.
Yeah. So, for them to take the attitude of that, like how dare you say that it's not flat? There's no evidence to say it's a globe. I just think is naive thinking, and I don't think there was anything that he said, because let's face it, guys, no one really knows.
No, and I'm okay with that.
Right, me too.
Sure. I'm okay with not knowing.
But to assert, the reason why I wanted to have one on is to assert that this is it, and this has to be it, and you're wrong, makes him no different than, a Trump supporter or a Biden supporter or somebody like that saying, no, this is right and you're wrong.
Yeah,
right.
This whole I'm taking this stance and you're not, the right and wrong bullshit is, it's in my opinion, it's as ignorant as racism.
Right.
It is not furthering anything by you being, saying, nope, this is right. There's no fucking chance that this could be right or this could be different. Or, it's just like me. I don't sit there and go, yep, 100% the earth is fucking round. No, I don't.
Right.
Do I see a fucking do I see a fucking horizon? Do I believe that something goes over? Yeah, but that it's just I don't know. I guess if anything, I don't feel. I thought for sure I'd come out of this feeling like a little more intelligent, or like I learned something.
Right.
And the only thing I learned is apparently I'm a fucking idiot.
You almost feel stupider, don't you?
I feel fucking. And that's hard to do because I am a fucking idiot. I mean, fuck. I don't know shit about fuck.
Yeah, it is kind of I gotta honestly say it's kind of a letdown. But
God damn.
I mean, yeah, not to end it on, not to be a buzzkill, but yeah.
I was so fucking hyped up too.
I came into this too being kind of like, man,
you were,
man. But
yeah, I didn't know what I was listening to. I thought I was in an alternate reality science class. And I heard Neil deGrasse Tyson. I hate that fucking guy. And here's the thing, people out there, listener out there, who doesn't know who fucking Sheldon Cooper is?
Yeah, it's funny. That was funny.
Seriously, if you don't know who fucking Sheldon Cooper is, let me know. Come on down here to Jacksonville. I'll send St. Joe over. He could thump you on your fucking forehead because you're a fucking moron.
You're messing with forces way above your ken.
Seriously. Seriously.
Just great.
Yeah.
I mean,
you got any stupid tweets?
I have a fucking shitload of stupid tweets.
Let's do something fucking fun.
Yeah,
that fucking Dave guy made my dick limp. Dude, he is the anti-Viagra.
God. Oh God!
I'm sorry, Dave, but go fuck yourself.
That's the name of the episode.
You know what?
That's the name of the episode.
What?
Dave made my dick limp.
Well, we're not going to name the episode that, but we can name the sneak peek for tomorrow that.
Good Lord.
So that all being said, we do want to thank Flat Earth Dave for coming on.
Yes. I mean, I'm glad he did.
That's awesome.
That's fucking awesome. Great.
Yeah. Maybe we don't.
Even though
maybe you want to send them a different link.
Even though.
You want to send them two versions. You want to edit one version, send them that.
Even though he didn't know who Sheldon Cooper was, and he didn't laugh at my Santa Claus joke, or he didn't figure out I was making fun of his shit, but maybe he didn't laugh because it wasn't funny, but whatever. Stupid tweet of the week. All right.
Wait, you know what? Another thing is, I don't want people to think I went out of my. You see all this fucking shit? I went out I researched for fucking 2 days.
Dude, I had notes. I had notes too.
Had goddamn diarrhea of the fucking mouth.
The problem is, we couldn't get a word in edgeways.
God damn.
And you got three people here who love to hear themselves talk. I mean, one in particular. And I can't be accused of taking that episode over. No. I know you guys accuse me of that shit all the time. I can't be accused of that shit.
Yeah. I'll say, no, I can't say it, Jay.
Yeah, do it. What?
I was going to say, ain't nothing to steal from this episode.
No, fuck. My episode's going to be fucking legendary compared to this shit show this week.
Dude, that was, I'm sorry.
Don't be fucking
That's so funny. Nah, that was good, man.
That was kind of
He's been on fire lately with his interviews. It's been great. It's been great.
All right.
That was fucking funny. Tweets. Kev,
that was funny.
God.
All right, we got 6 this week.
Oh, I can't wait.
Okay, we got
here
6.
We go. Here we go.
First one. It's from a guy named Devin. He says,
"Fuck him.
I think the scariest part of having triplets is being pregnant for 27 months.
Oh, for God's sake.
And that's where we're starting.
Oh, boy. Oh, boy.
That's where we're starting.
Oh, boy.
Next one from Marky. I wanna have sex in Paris on top of the Eiffel Tower.
Oh, Eiffel
Tower.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Nope.
Next one is from Mason. This one just struck me funny. Do you guys know who Derek Rose is?
Yes.
Okay. Derek Rose trying to speak on national television like he doesn't have a speech peppermint.
Speech peppermint.
That's good.
Next one is from Mahogany. There you go.
She sounds like she's on stage one.
Yeah. Mahogany. And she says, Twitter is my alter ego. EAGLE.
Wow.
This chick's name is Sticky Caramel or Caramel. Sticky Caramel. Sticky says, can sex be good without an organism?
No, it wouldn't exist.
Organism.
And the last one to choose from, personally, this one's my favorite because it's the stupid shit that gets me. Zam Zam, it's their name, Zam Zam, says, how do people drown? LMAO. Just drink the water, LOL.
Oh, God. No, it's the 27 months. For sure.
Yeah, it's got to be.
Okay. It's definitely the 27 months.
So the Stupid Tweet of the Week brought to you by the Stupid History Minute. 97 episodes now streaming. New episodes being distributed every day, and get it wherever you download podcasts. I think the scariest part of having triplets is being pregnant for 27 months. That is the Stupid Tweet of the Week brought to you by the Stupid History Minute. Closing thoughts, gentlemen, on Flat Earth Dave. I think collectively we're kind of let down.
Yeah.
I don't
didn't live up to the hype.
Fucking words for that. Wow. I mean, I'm gonna have to go beat my kids.
Oh.
And I don't even have any. I'm gonna go find the neighbor's fucking kids.
Oh boy.
Well, I do. St. Joe's supposed to remind me about this, but I need no reminder. Jay, I don't know if you know this, but the soon-to-be world-famous wife, by the release of this episode, which is May 25th, will be turning 50 years old. Tomorrow is her, Wednesday the 25th is her 50th birthday, so I want to extend to the soon-to-be world-famous wife that she is just that closer to being world-famous, that I love her very much, and that I hope she has a great birthday for what's in store that she has no fucking clue, and she doesn't listen to this bullshit, so
well,
I think we're
it's
safe.
time to trade her in for 225s.
Wow. I'm gonna go with no.
God,
that's what I'm telling mine. Mine's turning 50 this year too, so
It's
until there,
nice.
that's it.
well,
Trading you in.
happy
very
fucking
nice.
birthday to the soon-to-be world-famous wife.
I'm
Keb.
sure she will thank
Oh,
you.
before we get out of here, too,
Sure.
just so everybody fucking remembers, I left a voicemail for Keb this week, and I'm not letting motherfuckers forget this. So back in August of last year, and this was an episode before St. Joe was even on the Unfiltered podcast. It was just the Beebs and Keb, and he predicted back then, and I think they were in fourth place at the time.
Yeah, we weren't even 500.
Yeah, the Braves, who we haven't heard an update about tonight, Keb, this is perfect fucking window.
Well, dude, the reason I don't even have it on here, I can hear it on in the other room, but I wanted to give my attention because I thought it was going to be more interactive.
You thought it was fucking worthy?
Yeah.
Guess what? You were fucking wrong.
It's not the first time I've been wrong.
Yeah, I'm wrong every fucking time I open my mouth, but
I
was so back then you predicted all the way back then. He's because in the podcast, Beeb says, he's asking questions, and he says, "Hey, do you think that the Braves will make the playoffs?" Because they were a sub 500 team, you know, they weren't doing shit. And Kev says they will win the World Series. And I don't know if that's just been his stock answer every fucking year, like most fucking fans that are just blind faith following the light. But he said if they win, he was going to get a tattoo. I still haven't seen the tattoo. And so he did tell me, he called me back and he answered, and the soon to be world famous wife of Kev was on, I could hear her on the phone as well. And, so yeah, apparently he's going to get this tattoo. It's designed. Oh, yeah. He put the picture on Twitter and everything. So, yeah. I'm waiting to see this shit happen, but I'm going to mention it until fucking every week until it happens.
Okay. Where are you placing the tattoo?
On my left arm.
Inside, outside?
Outside.
Left arm
for the world to see.
Absolutely. So you might have to take a couple weeks off.
Whatever do you mean? Are you calling me a pussy, motherfucker?
No, are you going to have to switch hands? You're going to have to switch hands.
Oh, okay. I'm not left-handed, asshole.
Jay got it
right away. Yeah. No, looking for a place that, you know, you don't have to take out you don't have to finance a fucking tattoo. You know, number one. You know, my wife is ready. She's been wanting another one for a long time. They are, just in case anybody is out there wondering, they are not going to be matching. We're not that type of couple. We don't sit on the same side of the booth when we're eating fucking dinner, you know, and shit like that. But
never understood that shit. Don't you want to look at the person you're having dinner with?
I fucking hate it. As somebody who goes to restaurants and somebody who used to work in a restaurant, I mean, those people, you know, are close to KCP, close to it.
I mean, unless I'm getting a hand job, like from beside me, that's different.
Right.
I was thinking more and more about the tattoo, and you know, the A, you could get meatball. And the A could be right there in the meatball.
I was talking about this with somebody the other day, and every time
I tell somebody, IKEA sweatshirt.
Every time I tell somebody,
it could be the A in IKEA too.
I'm fucking Swedish. They associate me with a fucking Muppet. You know, that's the most famous Swedish thing is a Muppet, a meatball, and a fucking furniture store that sells furniture that no one can put together without having to fucking get through a UFC fight.
IKEA would be better. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And I like the colors.
Straight up and down IKEA with the chop and the A and the chop on the bottom. That's perfect.
Yes. Do it.
I don't want to deface the Braves property that way. You know, but thank you for your concern and your
maybe you could get the A chopping the meatball in half.
Yes.
That would be
a
great.
A baseball made out of meatball.
Oh, yes, right there. See, we're just redesigning the
that is a fucking great idea that I'll absolutely not fucking do.
He's like, what do you mean? I'm going to eat all the meatballs.
That's awesome.
You know. All right. Jay, who are you going to have on Friday?
So you're in luck because everybody knows this fucker. And he's famous. And he's bald.
Oh.
Uh-oh.
And it happens to be the Beebs. The Beebs is going to make an appearance on the Two Penny podcast this Friday. He'll be on. Nice. The Beebs is going to come on, and believe it or not, I'll go ahead and tell people what we're talking about. We're talking about sports this week.
Are you going to talk about the Baptist people fucking little boys?
That's your world.
No.
I know. I heard that they're going to release some paperwork and bullshit. Whatever. I'm none of that. I'm not Baptist. I'm not Catholic. I don't fuck kids.
Good for you. For you.
You know, I don't have a lot of excuses for you fuckers. I mean, go ahead. Fuck whoever you want. Oh, it's the sex that God can't see. Really? Oh my God.
That's great. That's great.
Yeah, the Beebs. The Beebs will be on this Friday. And if people are looking to find me, they can find me at the 2 Penny on Twitter. And actually, if you can't find me, just go to the Unfiltered UNF pod on Twitter, and you can always. I'm usually tagged in just about everything that's posted.
Nice.
So if you want to fucking yell at me or bitch at me or Flat Earth Dave, if you want to hit me up on there, feel free. Go fuck yourself. I don't care.
Nice.
Say, Joe, what you got going on?
Yeah, nice. Nothing. I'll just be, listen to all our favorite podcasts and, just following along.
Shout out to the Spotlight.
Yes.
Yeah,
the
Say, Joe, you're really
Spotlight
big.
Cartel.
Say, Joe's a big proponent of the Spotlight Cartel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Trying to keep everybody in line and make sure that everybody gets a shout out. There's been some really good stuff. A lot of people, have been doing really good work, and everybody's trying to, when they release their episodes, to give them a shout out and do it. Pedals has updated her logo. It looks real good. Nefarious Nightmare just came out with another episode in their series, which is phenomenal. Everybody should check that out if they haven't. Jury Room is doing good. Geeky Dad. Who am I missing? Anybody?
Vinny.
Two Penny, of
Vinny,
course.
Vinny.
And then Vinny is always helping release the latest updates. And letting everybody know, so it's good. So anybody wants to get a hold of me, it's St. Joe at UNF Pod.
And I'm at Keb Lives, KEBLIVES. Check out the Stupid History Minute wherever you download podcast. New episodes going to be coming out for the foreseeable future. They're already recorded, so they're coming at you whether you fucking like it or not. Ad free, by the way, ad free. And I think a couple of people on here could attest to that. I heard you loud and clear. Over at keblives.com. Updated probably within the next 2 weeks, 20 days, we will have finalized a fall schedule. And you can take that what it wants. I know we do have a couple listeners that listened to me when I did this by myself from that. And I appreciate you hanging with us and all that. But we will have a fall schedule. They have opened up North Florida big time. And we're going to do that once the summer is over, starting in August, actually. So be looking for that at keblives.com. And so if there's nothing else, gentlemen, we do want to thank Flat Earth Dave for having the cojones to come on and deal with our nonsense. Hopefully, we do this a lot where we complain about the episode and then listen to it later and find out that we like it. But anyhow, we want to thank Flat Earth Dave for coming on. So for Jay, for St. Joe, my name is the Keb. We will catch you guys next week.